So, Ginger,
Yeah?
you know how we wanted to start a podcast, but we were having trouble coming up with a topic?
Yeah?
Okay, so here's my pitch. The topic of the podcast is us trying to come up with the topic for the podcast.
What, like we pitch each other podcast ideas and that's the podcast?
Yeah, exactly. We could call it, What Should Our Podcast Be About?
Miles, that's really stupid. Let's do it.
What should this song be about? I'm trying to figure it out. What should this song be about? Could you perhaps help me out? I've had a moment of doubt. What should this song be about? Welcome to What Should Our Podcast Be About? The podcast where we try to figure out what this podcast that you're listening to right now should be about. I'm Miles Grover.
And I'm Ginger Barrow.
And today we are doing a podcast that we do. What did we do last time? We did Oops All Jump Scares last time.
Oops All Jump Scares. We talked about Halloween. Can we just do that again this week? Can we just talk about Halloween some more?
What do you got to say about Halloween?
I love it. I fucking love it. We're watching The Fall of the House of Usher right now.
Yep.
It's fantastic.
It's
all
good,
the
yep.
thumbs up.
If you like gory, creepy stuff. And
yeah.
I guess Edgar Allan Poe stuff.
Yeah. I mean, Mike Flanagan.
And Mike Flanagan.
Continues to, outdo himself. I'm amazed at how much stuff he makes in such a short amount of time, and it's all good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. A lot of the same actors from other stuff he's done, if you like those actors.
Yeah.
Or if you're
If you don't, I guess give it a pass.
I guess.
I know, but it's very good.
It's quite good. We watched a terrible horror movie last night called
Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, which we haven't seen the first one, but...
You don't need to see the first one, it turns out.
Literally half the movie is flashbacks that are just scenes from the first movie.
Yeah.
Apparently, which we haven't seen, but that's what we read.
And trigger warning, it's a lot of attempted rape in that movie.
It's quite rapey. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the bad guy is the one that stops the rapes.
Yeah, that's sort of good.
Weird. Well,
except at one point he just breaks.
He's the bad guy, right?
Right. But at one point he just breaks into a random couple's house.
Right.
Who are having consensual sex on a pool table.
In their own house. And
murders them.
Yeah.
So, but the rest of them, arguably, you're kind of on board with.
Sort of, at least on board with stopping it. Maybe not on board with totally murdering everyone, but...
Right.
Because most of the time he also murders the women.
Right. Because they're not really on board with him murdering someone, which, fair. It's I'm not opposed to punishment for rapists, but I don't know if they deserve to be immediately murdered.
Right. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
This, by the way, it's called, if you might have guessed from the title, Silent Night, Deadly Night, it's a Christmas horror movie. So he's dressed like Santa when he murders people.
Yeah.
And he says, naughty, naughty.
Yeah.
So.
He murders some nuns, or at least one nun.
He does murder one nun at least. Yeah, I think only one.
Yeah. Mother Superior. No, spoilers for Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
Spoiler alert, the bad nun doesn't make it.
Yeah. So that's that movie. It's probably not worth watching.
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of fun. The guy's performance is pretty fun, but...
It's an hour and 28 minutes long. Felt a lot longer.
It felt a lot longer. You can basically get all the good stuff that you need from that movie if you just go on YouTube and look up the Garbage Day scene.
Best scene.
Where he goes, Garbage Day! And just shoots a guy who's putting his garbage out. It's pretty funny, and it's the best part of the movie. And also, his performance, the entire movie, is basically exactly like the way he says that.
One level, that guy.
But... yeah. Halloween.
But we watched some much better movies as well.
True.
We watched Oculus after talking about it last week, which is also Mike Flanagan. We watched The Descent.
Yeah. We watched Red Snow about a girl who's like a vampire novelist who meets a real vampire.
She's a vampire novelist. Well, she's an
She's trying to be,
aspiring vampire novelist. She writes a lot of vampire fanfic.
When she writes vampire novels that just haven't gotten published.
Yeah, but fanfic too. She's on fan fiction sites.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Anyway, that was a pretty fun one.
That one was all right. We watched a number of horror movies. We're not quite doing 31 and 31, but
no, it's harder with a baby.
Yeah.
But we have managed to. We have 2 episodes left of Fellow House of Usher.
Yeah.
So we're making our way through that, and we've kind of taken a pause on the movies for that because it's so good. It's just so good.
Yeah.
If you like scary things and gore and Edgar Allan Poe. If you don't, it's probably not your
Probably
thing.
give it a pass.
Anyway, what are we talking about this week?
Yeah, good question. Do you have ideas, or do you want me to start with ideas?
I have an unprecedented 3 ideas
Whoa,
this week.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you want to get started?
Sure, yeah, I can start this week. All right, well, I guess I'll start with my stupidest idea.
All right. Sounds good.
This was a stupid idea I had based off a comment you made about making a comment where we report the weather each day.
Uh-huh.
So it's a podcast. I don't have a name for this one yet. It's a podcast that's just us making small talk.
Okay, just a small talk podcast.
Just a small talk podcast.
And we never get to an actual topic.
No, we just make
small talk.
We just make small talk the entire time.
Okay.
As boring as possible.
Yeah. That would be tedious for us and for the listener.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Maybe somebody out there wants that.
Maybe. I mean, I guess you could put it on in the background, and if you just need something on in the background.
Yeah. Or to go to sleep, maybe.
Maybe
it puts you to sleep.
Would it be like we're talking to the listener, or just it's like the listener's overhearing 2 random people?
Yeah, just overhearing 2 random people talking. I think
Are we us, or are we? Because if we're us and we talk about and we try to do small talk, we'll obviously we're us. But I mean, if we're just not doing any kind of character or anything like that, if we're just us talking, I feel like
maybe we're not us. Maybe we pick a different scenario each week.
Yeah, because I was going to say, if we're us, even just by the fact that we're the same people each week, you end up with some kind of narrative almost.
Yeah.
Right? How have things changed since last time we talked?
It could get too interesting.
Yeah, it could get interesting by accident.
Yeah, so maybe okay, this week we're office coworkers. Maybe next week we are friends who haven't seen each other since high school.
Right.
Run into each other at a baseball game.
Or acquaintances who haven't seen each other since high school. Right?
Yeah.
Because friends might have actual things to talk about.
Yeah.
Or we're 2 strangers on a train.
Yeah.
Or, okay. So how would that go, do you think?
I mean, I wasn't thinking we'd actually try this, so you put me on the spot here. You're more interested in this idea than I anticipated.
I'm trying to take everything seriously as the others, at least.
Okay, well, all right, let's pretend we're old friends that just ran into each other at a baseball game. Old acquaintances.
Right.
Haven't seen each other since high school.
Oh, man, hey, I haven't seen you for, how long has it been?
I don't know, 10 years?
At least 10. Maybe more? 10. When did we? Yeah, at least. I don't even want to think about it. Haha, I don't want to feel old,
Yeah. So how's it been going?
Yeah, pretty much same old. How about you?
Yeah, can't complain.
Yep. How are you? How's your family? Do you have a family? My family all died, actually.
No, just cats.
Oh, yeah.
Just cats.
I mean, that's like family, I guess, kind of.
Yeah.
How many cats do you have?
4.
4.
4.
I used to have a cat, but I don't have a cat anymore.
It's a cool story.
Thanks. My cat's name was Socks.
Socks. It's a very good name.
Pretty good name for a cat, I feel like. Yeah. Pretty original.
Why didn't you get another cat?
Oh, it's just not viable right now. I can't have one in my apartment, so
that's a bummer.
Plus, you got to feed them and stuff. It's a whole hassle.
Yeah, it's a hassle feeding 4 of them, but they bring me a lot of joy.
Yeah, a lot of work, but they're worth it.
Yeah. And to illustrate this point, our cat just ran across the room while we're recording.
Yep, they're
thump.
Hopefully not going to make too much noise. Anyway, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Bad audio, bad feelings to do it.
I know, it felt awkward.
I mean, it's kind of fun to try to be as lame and awkward as possible a little bit.
Yeah.
But Probably not. If we do a good job.
I was kind of like, okay, I'm just going to try and be as a weirdo.
Yeah.
A weirdo.
Yeah. See, that's too interesting. I was trying to be as bland as possible.
Yeah, it's really hard to be bland, I think.
Oh, is it? Because you're so quirky. You're so quirky and original.
I'm just too unique.
Yeah. Yep.
We've just got too much going on.
Yeah.
No, cool. I just I wasn't reminding myself to be boring. I was like thinking about like what's a way to make this interesting without really meaning to, or what's a way to make this funny. I guess just because that's kind of where my brain usually is when we're making this podcast. I'm not saying I'm funny, but no, I try. Okay. It's okay. I try to be.
No, yeah, that's a good idea. That's what we should be doing, I think. Okay, so no to that idea.
So no to that idea.
I think we can throw that right in the trash. I was also thinking about the weather, stupid weather thing I said. Because earlier you were like, I don't know if I have any ideas. And I was like, how about a podcast where we just report the weather?
Right, after I said it was 46 degrees out today. Right. So there you go, upstate New York, 46 degrees today, guys.
Yeah, well, so I was thinking, what if we tried to actually report the weather and we publish a new episode every 15 minutes and we try to read off the weather in as many places as we can in those 15 minutes. And then immediately we have to start on the next 15 minutes.
Do you think that Svetlana would enjoy this podcast?
The weather podcast?
Uh-huh.
Because
I'm making a joke because I gave her a hard time the other day about being obsessed with the weather.
Yeah, so you're hoping she'll listen to this and feel offended now?
Yeah. Okay. I'm trolling.
Very narrow casting.
Very narrow casting.
So I was thinking that, which is obviously a terrible and also impossible to do thing because we'd have to be live podcasting constantly, or you'd be hearing what the weather was 3 days ago when you get around to listening to the podcast, right? It obviously doesn't work.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking...
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun to edit for you, too.
Right, yeah.
Very interesting.
Well, when would I edit it? We've got 15 minutes to read the weather, and then we've got to read it again.
Just throw it up.
Yep. I don't even know how I'm uploading it. We have nothing... If we're doing the weather all the time, we have literally no time for anything. Anyway.
Yeah.
So that's obviously stupid, but...
Yeah. Yeah. So you're thinking it's a round-the-clock podcast.
Yeah. With just the two of us somehow.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just like feeding my baby and recording and like...
I guess we would have to switch off.
We have no social life anymore.
No, we have no life other than this. And then when we switch off, we can go to the bathroom and stuff and eat, I guess.
Okay. Great idea.
Great idea. But then I was thinking I was thinking about like hearing the weather from a few days ago or whenever you get around to listening to the podcast is obviously nothing, right? There's no utility to that whatsoever. But what if we did a fictional, like, pretend we're a news podcast, like a news radio show, I guess, coming up at 11 is blah, 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 but it's all just stuff we make up, right? It could be like creepy stuff. Like it could be like, and today we're going to have, a fire tornado rip through town, but don't worry about it. It's fine. I don't know. I guess it's kind of a Night Vale-ish kind of idea.
I was going to say, that's sort of Welcome to Night Vale.
Yeah,
right?
It's similar too, but.
Yeah. I feel like something like that would probably have to be like scripted, which is a lot more work than we want to do.
That's true. It probably would work best. I mean, I assume that Night Vale is scripted, yeah. And we wouldn't want to have to write scripts. And also, I don't feel like I watch or listen to enough news programs like that to necessarily be able to nail that vibe that well.
Right. Yeah. So you kind of had to have a little bit of acting skills too.
Yeah, that's true.
Which
we obviously do. Yeah. Have you heard us pretending to be Draculas? We're amazing.
Or pretending to be boring people.
Or old people.
Yeah,
or
old people.
Muppets.
Or
we've got such a huge range.
Yeah, very large range.
Yeah, so that's an idea.
Yeah.
Pretty idea. Do you want me to do another idea or do you want to do an idea?
I can do another idea.
Okay,
so this one popped into my head while I was doing my makeup the other day, which I'll explain. But the title of the podcast would be just Fuck You Bill Maher. So hopefully you're already on board.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm on board with that sentiment.
Yeah. So I don't watch Bill Maher anymore, but in my early 20s, I watched real time with Bill Maher.
Right.
Before I knew enough.
I mean, I feel like he's also gotten worse over time.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
But
he's always been a smug guy.
The only thing I like about Bill Maher is that he's in House 2, and he's like a smug, shitty record executive or something like that. Yeah.
He's himself, right? Well, anyway, so he has a segment called New Rules. I don't know if he still does, but he did at the time. And there's one that always pops into my head.
Okay.
Which is where he says, new rule, women have to stop caring so much about their eyebrows. Here's how much men care about your eyebrows. Do you have 2 of them? Good, we're done here.
Right.
Which I think is stupid for a number of reasons. One being like pretending that women don't need to care about their appearance.
Right.
Is just patently false on a societal level.
Yeah, and pretending like men don't care. Men maybe don't think about eyebrows that much, but if a girl has weird, messed up eyebrows or something, they're gonna not like it.
Well,
right?
And they change the way your face looks, right? So it's like you think that sentiment makes sense,
right?
But it actually really doesn't.
It makes no sense. Yeah.
So the idea for the podcast was just to go through Bill Maher's new rules and point out why each one is stupid.
Okay, so just going through, that would mean a lot of watching Bill Maher.
I'm hoping that we could find a list on the internet somewhere and we wouldn't have to actually watch him talk. Would be
just a list of his new rules somewhere, on the Bill Maher wiki or something.
Yeah, there's probably one. I mean, everything seems to exist on the internet. I've done zero research on this.
Yeah. There's wikis for a lot of stuff on the internet where you can find stuff like that, but I kind of doubt the boomers that watch Bill Maher are making them.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it might require watching Bill Maher.
Yeah. Either way,
that is a downside to it.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Maher sucks, and I'm absolutely happy to
trash
dunk on him, right? But I also don't really want to engage with him or his stupid ideas or his stupid, quote unquote.
That's kind of the reaction I expected, but it was an idea.
It's just a joke, bro.
It's
just a joke. Don't take it so seriously. That's probably what Bill Maher fans would say about any picking apart of his dumb stuff, right?
I feel the whole conceit of introducing new rules pretty smug,
it's pretty smug
on its face.
Yeah. I can see how you would, as a comedian or whatever, being generous to Bill Maher, as a comedian, you would be new rules, blah, blah, blah thing. But the premise kind of assumes that everyone listening will be oh yeah, that should be a new rule.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone's going to agree that this thing I'm saying is stupid.
Right.
Is stupid.
Right. Everyone's you've got to, I guess that's maybe part of comedy is that you have to assume that everyone's going to agree with your opinion, even if it's a shitty one, right?
I guess, but
because if you're going to make fun of something, you have to assume that people want this thing to be made fun of.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's not, I guess in some ways it's not fundamentally different than a lot of, at least observational comedy or whatever, but there's a certain I don't know. To me, it feels it's more explicitly that kind of thing. Because an opinion that you hope everyone will share with you when you point out something is one thing. But a new rule is this opinion should be what everyone has to do. Right?
Right.
It's more explicitly shitty, right?
Yeah, it's more commanding.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So it's called Fuck You, Bill Maher, and we have to go and tell people why Bill Maher sucks.
We just go through his new rules and talk about why they're stupid.
Yeah.
But I don't have any other examples. I don't remember anything else from his show except this one rule that it stuck in my head because it really annoyed me when he said it.
Yeah.
And also I haven't watched his show in a very long time.
Yeah, good for you. I've only watched clips here and there when somebody's look at this dumb thing Bill Maher said, because he's very off-putting and unwatchable. Yeah. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
New rule, no one should watch Bill Maher.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's... Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if we could do something like that, but maybe not only Bill Maher stuff, because there's plenty of lame comedians or lame commentator. Is Bill Maher even a comedian? He's a commentator at this point, basically.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
if he was ever a comedian.
He started in stand-up, I think.
Maybe? I don't know. But anyway, I mean, there's plenty of, like, dumb jokes we could take apart and be like, this is why this is dumb or bad or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. So it could be less specifically about Bill Maher.
Can we still call it Fuck You, Bill Maher?
We could... I wonder if we would do... Maybe we would do, like...
Do you think we could get away with Fuck You, Bill Maher as a podcast title?
Yeah, we could.
It'd probably have to be censored in the title, right?
Yeah, at least on some platforms or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know, actually, how that works, but...
But I just don't know if you could actually put that up as a title or if it would...
I think you probably could. Maybe it would auto-censor it on some platforms. I don't know. Wait,
let me search.
You're going to search and see if there's
I'm going to search if there's any podcasts with fuck in the title.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, they all do seem to have asterisks in them.
Did you just search for fuck?
Yeah.
But it still comes up?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So they've all got asterisks in them, either 1 asterisk or 2 asterisks. But so yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we could do that. I have another idea that's a little bit on a similar, I guess a slightly similar in that it's criticizing old things.
Okay.
Which is a podcast called Time Cops, where we go and watch movies that are set in historical periods and like talk about the stuff that's anachronistic.
Oh, okay.
So like,
I don't feel like we'd be very good at that. I mean, I feel like you have to be really well versed in whatever
time period,
especially if like the further back you get.
Yeah. What if we did it only for movies set in the future? And we just like, it's not like that. Taco Bell's not the only restaurant in the future.
Okay. Are there enough movies that are set in the future that we've lived through?
No. I'm not saying we've lived through. I'm saying...
Oh, you're just saying we make it up.
Right. Because if we're doing historical period, you're right, we would probably need to know things about historical periods. And we know some things. There's probably some things we could look at and be like, I don't think that was right.
Right.
Or whatever. But... future period, nobody knows, so we could pretend we're people from the future, and which is what there's a movie called Time Cop with Jean-Claude Van Damme,
yeah.
which is
I feel like my brother watched that movie a lot.
He is from the future, I believe, so we could be the Time Cops from the future and just talk about what is or isn't accurate in various movies. I don't want to
be a cop though.
Yeah, that's the one thing that kind of isn't great is the not wanting to be a cop, but yeah. We would just have to ignore that if we want to do this.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. You got another one?
I got one more. This is the one I think that you're going to like the most, that I'm the most excited about. I don't have a title for it.
Okay.
But I saw a post that made me think of this. And the basic idea for the podcast is we talk about names for like childhood games. Or there's a word for this. We talk like Ding Dong Ditch is a thing, right?
Okay.
So we talk about like what the names are for them here in the US, and then we talk about names for these similar like games, and maybe not just games, but games was the first one that made me think of it.
Yeah.
In different areas around the world. Because apparently in the UK, well, in parts of the UK, not all of the UK, there's apparently a disagreement of what to call this in like different parts of the UK. But in one area of the UK, Ding Dong Ditch is called Knicky, Knocky, 9 Doors.
That sounds like somebody trolling, like saying like the post where somebody's like...
No, I'm pretty sure it's true. I
like the post where somebody's like, in Britain, they call candy bars chocolate globber knots or whatever.
Okay, so...
That sounds like that. But
let me look up Knicky, Knocky, 9 Doors.
That could be true, but...
It auto-completed.
It sounds...
There's also some areas of the UK where it's called Knock Knock Ginger.
Okay. Interesting. That's probably racist or something. Right? That's probably like racist against Irish people or something.
No, okay, so apparently, you know what? I'm wrong. According to this article from dictionary.com, Knicky Knocky 9 Doors is what it's called in Canada. Although this says Nicky 9 Doors.
Okay.
Which I'm not sure. Knock Knock Ginger in England. Chicky Melly in Scotland.
Okay.
Knick-knack in Ireland.
They just call it knick-knack?
Knick-knack.
Huh.
Knick-knack, yeah. Which is interesting because knick-knack here means something totally different, right?
Right.
Do you think they're very confused when they come to the U.S.?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they know that word too to mean that. And in context, they just use it differently maybe. But like, the thing that gets me about knick-knack though is that we call it ding-dong dash. I guess in Canada they call it Knicky-knacky nine.
Ding-dong dash or ding-dong ditch.
Or ding-dong ditch, yeah, either one.
Ding-dong dash I've heard too, though.
Yeah. And Nicky-knocky nine doors or whatever they call it. Right.
I want to call it Nicky-knocky nine doors.
And even Knock Knock Ginger, the thing that all of those have in common, besides being kind of silly, is that they are kind of long, right? They're not long, but they're like very specific, right? Because it's such a specific thing that I don't feel like you could use like such a generic sounding.
Well, they also involve the act of like ringing a doorbell or knocking on a door.
Yeah.
So is knocking on a door called knick-knacking in Ireland?
Maybe, but then if it's just said knick-knack, it can't be just knick-knack.
It could be. There's that song. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone.
And paddywhack probably is, again, racist against Irish people, right?
Oh, is it?
I don't know. Paddy is a term for Irish people, right?
Oh.
And paddywhack is probably beating Irish people or something. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, so this podcast could be dangerous.
It could be racist to Irish people. I was recently, this is a tangent, but I was recently reading that the word Scotch, was used for some period of time in Scotland. It's not too hard to see Scottish turning into Scotch, right? Scotch, right?
But Scotch eggs and stuff.
Right, but it fell out of favor in Scotland because it got used as a sort of derogatory term by the English and stuff. And so Scotch egg, I think, like Scotch became to mean like crappy or parochial, or like the way we might say like, an Indian burn, right? Or an Indian giver, right? Some of these sort of just sort of generically bad a generically bad thing associated with an ethnic group.
Right.
And I guess Scotch kind of did that in the UK, and they still call them Scotch eggs, which I don't really know why. I barely know what a Scotch egg is. It seems like a weird fried thing with an egg in it or something, or is it a weirdly fried egg? I feel like
it's a like pickled egg,
or is it like?
I could be wrong. I don't like eggs, so I've never had one.
Seems like bread. It doesn't really matter. I think it's like they're saying like.
Oh, you're right. It's a boiled egg wrapped in sausage meat, coated in breadcrumbs, and baked or deep fried.
Right, and so maybe that one is just like maybe they did that in Scotland a lot or something, but like. I think Scotch
tape... They do like to fry things.
I think the words that like Scotch tape, which they don't say in the UK, I don't think at this point.
No, they say sellotape.
Sellotape, but like I think that Scotch is like cheap tape or crappy tape.
Well, Scotch tape is a brand here, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. But like we use it pretty generically, right?
Right, yeah.
And I feel like I read somewhere that came from like cheap tape or like weak, crappy tape or something. Like a weird. Anyway, that's very tangential. But being racist against Celtic people, I guess, is the theme there.
Yeah.
And a paddywhack seems like it's probably beating up a Irish
I
person.
tried to look it up, but I just came up with a bunch of Irish pubs in the U.S.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, knick-knack. So that's interesting. Your idea is interesting because there's a lot of stuff that we could talk about that has really funny different names in different places. Mm-hmm. Like, what do you
I figured you would have some stuff.
Yeah.
I think maybe should we talk about the idea before we go further into this? Because I think this one has possibility, maybe being the one we talk about. Should we discuss the ideas that we've come up with so far? Or do you have more ideas that you want to talk about? I
have more ideas, but I think we've pretty much ruled out all the ones we've talked about so far.
Aside this one,
right? Like none of them have really hit either of us very hard. And this one, I'm not sure how much legs it has, but I think we can just start discussing it and see where it goes.
Okay.
And if we don't like where it goes, we can change it up later.
All right. Yeah, so I didn't have any more colloquialisms.
Yeah.
I think that was what I was looking for. But maybe you do.
Yeah, basically colloquialisms for stuff that like doesn't need a serious name for it. You know what I mean? Maybe is kind of the thing. Yeah, what the first thing that comes to mind is, what do you call their little, they're not insects, but they're little bugs that are kind of gray and they roll up into a ball.
Oh, yeah, I think I've seen some
So what do you
debate
call
about this one.
what do
I
you
call
call
them roly-polies.
Roly-polies. So we call them roly-polies, roly-poly bugs, potato bugs, pill bugs, sow bugs. Where I grew up, all of those are used.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch more.
Yeah.
I think in some places they call the technical term I think is woodlice.
Woodlice, yeah.
In some places I think they call them chuggy pigs or something like that.
Chuggy pigs.
Yeah, let me look that up. Or
is that true?
I think it's something like that. Let me look it up. Common names include armadillo bug, boat builder, butcher boy or butchie boy, carpenter or caffner, cheese log, cheesy bobs, cheesy bug, chiggy pig, chisel pig, chucky pig, doodle bug, grammar sow, hog louse.
How do they have so many names?
In Welsh, there's mochyncoed, tree pig, or Prif Shudo, something like that. Ash bug, pill bug, potato bug, roll up bug, roly poly, slater, sow bug.
Slater, I've heard.
That's in Scotland, apparently.
Yeah. I've probably heard that on Outlander.
Sow bug, wood bunter, wood bug, and wood pig. Those are all listed as common names. So I was close. Chucky pig, not chuggy pig.
Chucky pig.
And chiggy pig.
Chiggy pig sounds like it should be racist or something.
It does, kind of. Also, cheesy bobs is pretty weird.
Cheesy bobs.
And cheesy bugs.
Cheesy bobs and cheesy bugs does sound like something you would eat, which is weird.
Yeah, I mean, maybe people ate them? I don't know why. Butcher boy is pretty weird.
Butcher boy, yeah.
Look at those little butcher boys down there in the dirt. Like, why? What? Like armadillo bug.
Mama butcher boy.
Armadillo bug, sure. Boat builder, I don't understand.
Armadillo bug makes sense.
Yeah, armadillo bug makes sense. Boat builder, I don't get, but it's just kind of. I guess that's in Newfoundland.
Okay.
Let me tell you where these are from. Butcher boy or butchie boy is in Australia, mostly around Melbourne.
Okay.
Carpenter or caffner is also in Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. Cheese log is Reading, England. Cheesy bobs is Guildford, England. Cheesy bug is Northwest Kent, Gravesend, England. Chiggy pig is Devon, England. Chisel pig, it doesn't say. Chucky pig is Devon, Gloucestershire, Herefordshire, England. Doodle bug, it doesn't say where it's from, but it does have this parenthetical. Also used for the larva of an antlion and for the cockchafer.
The what? The what now?
There is a species of scarab beetle known as the common cockchafer. Cockchafer. Exactly how you would think it's spelled.
Okay. Does that originate because of roosters or penises?
I don't know.
Do you want to ruin your Google search history, by looking up cockchafer?
I'm already on the Wikipedia page, so let's see. The name cockchafer derives from the late 17th century usage of cock in the sense of expressing size or vigor, plus chafer, which simply means an insect of this type referring to its propensity for gnawing and damaging plants. The term chafer has its roots in Old English, cafor or kafer, of Germanic origin and is related to the Dutch kever, all of which mean gnawer.
So it's not at all dirty. It's not meant to be dirty.
No, it means a big bitey guy, I guess.
A big bitey guy.
And it's cockchafer.
Okay.
Also, trying to say the word gnawer.
Gnawer.
Like something that gnaws, a gnawer. It sounds like I'm saying no in Australian English.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Gnawer.
Gnawer.
Anyway, cockchafer, that's a bug I didn't know about before, so the cockchafer does have a couple of other names, maybug, maybeetle, or doodlebug.
All significantly cuter.
Much better than cockchafer, but not as good as Chucky pig, I guess. Why pig also? Why do some of them say pig? Several of them call them pigs. Cheese log I kind of get because they're sort of shaped like a cheese log.
Yeah,
right?
Okay,
and
I'll give you that.
If your main sort of reference point for something that's sort of oblong and smallish is a cheese log, then I kind of get it.
Yeah.
Cheesy bug, I guess maybe comes from that. And cheesy bobs, I don't know what cheesy bobs comes from, but I guess maybe bobs is just like bits and bobs.
Yeah.
They're little cheesy bobs.
Yeah.
I guess. Or like we say thingamabob, right?
Yeah, okay.
So anyway,
fair.
there's a lot of these. So we could definitely do at least one episode about all these different things.
Yeah.
Another one that comes to mind is the game, quote unquote game where you put your hand on the table and stab a knife into the table.
Is there a name for that?
I think it's called, or wait, maybe I'm thinking of a different thing. There's a thing called Mumbledy-Peg, I think, which I think might be that.
I have no idea. I've never heard of that.
Let me look it up.
Is that what it's called here?
Let me just see. Let me just look this up.
I think it would be interesting to talk about, find out if some of the games, like the childhood games that we have here, are called different things in other places. Like, is Simon Says everywhere?
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Simon Says, is that called the same thing everywhere? I don't know. So let me tell you a little bit. Okay, so Mumbledy-Peg is when you throw a knife at the ground and try to hit it close to the other person and have it stick in the ground or whatever.
Okay, I don't think I've ever played that.
In one common version of the game, two opponents stand opposite one another with their feet shoulder width apart. The first player then takes the knife and throws it to stick it in the ground as near his own foot as possible. Second player then repeats the process. Whichever player sticks the knife closest to his own foot wins the game. If a player sticks the knife in his own foot, he wins the game by default, although few players find this option appealing because of the possibility of bodily harm. Thanks, Wikipedia. Anyway, I was thinking that had a number of different names, but I guess it's Mumblety-Peg, Mumbly-Peg, Mumblepeg, Mumble-the-Peg, Mumble-D-Peg, or Mumble-D-Peg. Yeah, so I guess that doesn't really have a lot of different names. I was thinking it did, but I guess not.
Okay.
I feel like there's a name for the game where you have your hand and you stick a knife in the table or whatever and try not to stab your hand, but...
Yeah, there is. It's called No Thank You.
It's called Don't Do That. It's a bad idea.
It's called Bad Ideas.
Okay, so here is... I did find some names. Wikipedia says it's called The Knife Game, or Pin Finger, Nerve, Bishop, Knife Fingies, Five Finger Fillet, FFF.
Oh, you know what? I feel like I've heard that one.
Or Chicken. Although clearly chicken is a different thing.
Chicken is the car thing, right?
Chicken is a number of things, right? Because there's also the thing...
Chicken is the car thing where you run your cars towards each other and you see who swerves first.
Yeah, it's also
Unless Rebel Without a Cause lied to me.
I feel like people also call the game where you're in a pool and you're on somebody's back, like a swimming pool, and you're two people are in swimming pool and then two people are on their backs and they slap each other or something. I feel like people call that chicken. I don't know what that game is actually about,
I've never heard of this game or played this game.
I feel like it's a thing.
Seen anybody play this game.
I'm pretty sure I'm not making it up completely.
Somebody might have made it up completely though.
Well, somebody made all words up completely, but
maybe that's just a you thing. I don't know. Maybe our two podcast listeners could chime in and let us know if they've heard of that game.
No, this is a thing. Okay, I just Googled it. Chicken Fight, Camel Fight, also known as Shoulder Wars, is an informal game often played in a lake or swimming pool, characterized by one team member sitting on the shoulders of his or her teammate or riding piggyback. Object of the game is to knock down or separate an opposing team through effort. So you're trying to get the other person off the back of the other person. Okay. And I guess Chicken Fight is the name of it. But I feel like I've just heard people call it chicken. But yeah, either way, that one makes less sense. I get the ones that are called chicken where it's are you too chicken to keep going or whatever, right? Chicken being a term for, cowardice or whatever. For some reason, I don't really know where that comes from, but... Yeah, where does that come from? No, we don't have to go into that. But either way, Chicken Fight / Camel Fight / Shoulder Wars is another example of a thing that's called weird stuff in different places, right? I looked up Simon Says. Okay. And discovered that it is called some different things in other countries. I don't know if any of them are super interesting, but I can give you a few of them if you want. Okay. So in Finland, it's the Captain Commands.
In France, it's John says instead of Simon says.
Okay. Wait, John, not like Jean or something?
Well, Jean or Jacques.
Jacques.
So it's either Jack said or John says.
Is it like Jacques Dia or something?
Jacques D.
Jacques D,
yeah. Jack said. In France, in Quebec, it's Jean D. Jean says.
Okay.
In Kurdish, apparently, it's Uncle Solomon says. China, Mandarin Chinese, the teacher says.
Okay.
Norway, the king commands.
Okay.
Turkey's Jacob says. Vietnam is I say.
Okay. I mean, that's the most straightforward one, I guess.
Anyway, yeah.
Where does Simon's... Is it just because it has alliteration, or...
Where did Simon says come from?
Yeah, I wonder where that comes from. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page now. Colonel commands in Afrikaans. In Arabic, they say the teacher says. In Basque, they say the leader says, or Unai says.
It's also called do this, do that.
Okay.
In Sweden, it looks like. There's a variant in India, Pakistan, Germany, Slovakia, Czech Republic, and Hungary, which is called birdfly.
Birdfly?
Birdfly.
Okay.
Oh, it doesn't say in here where Simon came from.
Yeah.
What are some other children's games that I wonder if Red Light, Green Light?
Tic-tac-toe, I know they call that noughts and crosses.
Yeah, I've heard that one. What about Red Light, Green Light? Does Red Light, Green Light exist other places?
Probably.
I feel like Red Light, Green Light was in Squid Game, wasn't it? Wasn't the first game they played in Squid Game?
Basically, yeah.
Red Light, Green Light?
I think so, yeah. So this is definitely a doing research kind of podcast.
Yeah.
Right? We'd have to find good examples and then talk about, and then, learn about what the different things are and stuff.
So Red Light, Green Light in the UK is called Statues.
Statues, okay.
Oh, wait. No, wait. Okay, it's called Statues somewhere. Not in the UK. In the UK, apparently, it's called Grandmother's Footsteps or Fairy Footsteps.
Huh. That makes me think about...
We're the only ones that call it Red Light, Green Light.
Yeah. The fairy stuff makes me think about the different names that cotton candy has in different places. Do you know about that?
No, I don't. And you should tell me more about that. But I want to talk a little bit more about this because this is interesting.
Okay, tell me more.
So in the Dutch version, apparently, instead of yelling green light, the caller sings Anne Maria in a slow voice, followed by a quick and loud cuckoo when they turn around, like red light. Instead of saying red light, they say cuckoo. And
they say, what is the thing they say for green light instead?
They say Anne Maria in a slow sing-songy voice.
Anna Maria. Or something like that. Huh.
The Flemish version of the game is called 1, 2, 3 Piano.
Huh. 1, 2, 3 Piano. Okay.
Yeah. There's apparently a variation of the game called Winnie the Pooh.
Okay.
And the person playing Pooh, the curator, leans against the wall and has to shout 1, 2, 3 Winnie the Pooh stop.
Okay.
So it's long enough for the players to reach some distance. And because of the rhyme it provides in Bulgarian, where this version comes from.
Okay.
So maybe this podcast could be about children's games, which I think is I'm kind of enjoying learning more about.
I feel like a lot of the things like this will probably be related to children in some way. Like, children are the most likely to come up with random weird names for stuff, probably.
Yeah.
That don't need a, real name, right?
In Chile, do you want to hear some of the other names for this game in other countries?
Yeah, sure. Okay. This is still red light, green light.
It's still red light, green light, yeah. So in Argentina, 1, 2, 3, cigarette 43.
Okay.
Presumably not in English, these rhyme, so it's...
Right, yeah. They probably rhyme in other languages, yeah.
Australia is hot chocolate.
Huh, okay.
No further information, just says that.
This is the game where people can move and then you'd turn around and then they have to stop, right? Basically. Because we saw an episode of Bluey where they were doing that. And I don't feel like they said hot chocolate, but I don't remember.
They might have changed it, though, because some of the episodes are changed for the U.S. release.
Maybe.
But they may not say hot chocolate, even
it might
if the
just
game
be
is
called hot chocolate. Yeah, I guess that's true.
So Austria is thunder, weather, lightning.
Thunder, weather, lightning.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it also says, it's also called room, kitchen, cabinet, behind the oven there is a bed.
Room, kitchen, cabinet, behind the oven there is a bed?
Yeah, that's the translation, apparently. I don't know.
From what language?
Austrian.
Okay, interesting. That's probably one long word.
Yeah. It says Zimmer, Küche, Cabinet, hinterm Ofen steht ein Bett.
Huh. Okay.
Brazil, a little French fry, 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Chile is 1, 2, 3, it's a mummy.
That's pretty good, actually. That kind of makes sense. Kind of.
Yeah.
Assuming mummy means what I think it means is the like spooky Egyptian undead guys, right?
Right. Yeah.
And not like your mom or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Like freeze because
because a mummy's gonna get you.
Because a mummy's gonna get you.
Wait, where was that again?
Chile.
In Chile, because they have mummies in the mountains. I think in Chile.
Like some of these are
mummified ancient people or whatever. So that makes sense.
All right, China. 1, 2, 3. We are all wooden men.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
Okay, Costa Rica's good. 1, 2, 3. Stop little cheese.
Stop little cheese. Okay.
Stop little cheese. Germany. 1, 2, 3. Ox at the mountain.
Okay.
So you stop for the ox.
I guess.
India's apple, banana.
Okay.
Which I guess makes as much sense as anything.
I mean, red light, green light makes sense. It's pretty modern reference, right? But it makes sense. Stop and go.
Yeah.
Stop little cheese, I guess, makes apple, banana. Maybe it makes more sense in whatever language that's in, Hindi or whatever. But
yeah. Wait, is Bluey Australian or New Zealand?
Australian.
Okay. Well, because New Zealand has a pretty great one.
Okay, what's New Zealand?
Sneak up granny.
Sneak up granny. That's
Sneak
pretty
up
good.
Granny. Malaysia's is also pretty good. I don't know what it means, but it's called "What Time Is It, Grandpa Tiger?"
Okay. This is fun. We are pretty much over time at this point, and Rory is awake now.
Wait, can I give you just a couple more to end on? Well, I at least have to tell you Poland because I think you'll like it.
Tell me a couple more.
Okay. Panama is 1, 2, 3 grilled cheese.
Okay.
And Poland is 1, 2, 3 Baba Yaga is looking.
Okay, that's good.
Which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, I like that. I wanted to tell you some of the different names for cotton candy in different places.
Okay.
So they call it fairy floss.
I've heard that.
In, I think, Australia.
I've heard that.
But spun sugar obviously is like sort of the technical word for it or whatever. According to this thing I found on the internet, in Greece they call it granny's hair. In Dutch they call it a sugar spider. In French they call it Papa's beard. So I just like granny's hair.
Granny's hair is...
It's a pretty funny word for it.
It's pretty funny, yeah.
But yeah, we need to wrap up because Rory's awake. So do you want to do our social media stuff?
Yeah, okay. So you can find all of our links to our social media on our website, which is coolpodcast.website. We are on Twitter and Instagram and Threads at WhatShouldPod. You can also look us up on Facebook, What Should Our Podcast Be About? And email us your questions, comments, love, hate, and hopefully more love than hate, and tell people about us. But yeah, do email us your suggestions. We will use them no matter how stupid they are. And we will give you a shout out on the podcast. And yeah, I think that's it.
Yep. And also, if you want to answer questions on Spotify, I usually put a silly question on there, maybe a poll or whatever.
Oh, I forgot to say our email. Our email is what@coolpodcast.website.
Right.
And we still don't have an outro, so if you've got a suggestion for an outro for us, send us that too.
Send us your suggestions for ideas for podcasts or just for outros for podcasts, I guess.
Yeah.
Would be fine.
Yeah. Because we don't have one yet.
Because we still don't have one. We did do that raccoon thing a couple times, but I don't know if that's not really anything.
Yeah. Nobody's listening through all of this to hear us talk about raccoons. Maybe our outro could be a raccoon fact.
Raccoon fact? Okay, do you have a raccoon fact?
No.
Okay.
I did not prepare for this, but...
it's off to a great start.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Maybe we have an animal fact at the end of our podcast.
Yeah. Maybe the end. Maybe our outro is, what is this outro about? And every week we have to come up with
every week we're gonna come up with a different outro. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So animal fact for the week. For now, I guess.
Raccoon fact: they have little hands, but they don't have thumbs, so they have to grab everything with both hands, which is very cute.
It is very cute.
All
right.
That's the only one that and they're little bandits also.
They're little bandits.
If you didn't know, they're little bandits, raccoons. If you didn't know that, that's a scientific fact.
Yeah.
Scientific fact: raccoons are little bandits, and that's the end of our podcast.
Bye.
Bye. What was that podcast about? I'm trying to figure it out. Didn't catch what that was about.